Howdy. I am back in Idaho. Been here for a little bit, about 2 weeks. As usual, everything's a little bit behind when I post here. I am sitting under the apple tree, one of the apple trees, which should be ready in about 2 weeks, hopefully. Um, as I said in a post I did 10 days ago or something on my social medias about my background a little bit, and I usually talk about what got me to this point every few years because I get a lot of questions people ask. So I'm giving you a brief history to understand also anybody that listens to me or anybody that even watches why I do what I do. So briefly, without making this really long, I'm from Idaho. I went to college up at U of I after I graduated high school, and as soon as I got out of college, I went to um, the Bay Area and got a job with Citicorp. Um, Graduated in business, and it took me about 8, 9 months to realize two things. I didn't like my major too much, and I hated the corporate world. So, like every know-it-all 20 something, I quit my job and moved to LA with absolutely no prospects. And I went down to be in the music industry because I'm a musician. I wasn't going to be a musician. I wanted to work behind the scenes like A&R or which is artists and working for a record company, something like that. And then somehow I just stumbled into the movie industry. A friend of mine said, "Hey Keith, I've got a friend working on doing a movie on weekends. Do you want to be a PA, which is production assistant?" But at the time, I didn't even know what that was. And I said, "Okay." And I saw this whole new world. So I literally just worked my way in. I mean, I didn't even take a film class in college. So it became a career. And of 20 years in Los Angeles, and I did a lot. I got to experience 10 lifetimes of things. I got to travel the world. I was in international distribution, which is the business of the business. It's the hub that everything goes around. And then I got into producing movies about halfway into my career. Um, Lower budget, independent. I was in the independent world. It was a great life for a long time, but I burned out. I partied like a rock star for years and almost drank myself to death in a very horrible relationship at the end of towards the end of my LA career, and I just said I got to do something else. It was time. It was time. I was done, and I've been that kind of person to always just go for something and learn about it and then move on. I love change. I do love change. Change can be uncomfortable, but it's where we learn our best and it's where we grow our best. So I moved back to Idaho at about 43 years old. Left that life and that business completely behind. I shut the door completely on it. Moved back to Idaho to kind of get my sanity back and do a few things for my health. I was very unhealthy. I did a few things. I quit drinking. Um, uh, Drugs weren't really my big thing. I dabbled in them, but drink was my thing. And I just sort of spent about a year just kind of regrouping, getting my head back because I was out of my mind and figuring out what I wanted to do at 43 years old. So around 45, I started working on my health, and I had met my business partner then, Wendy, who ended up being the sister I never had, and one of my best friends who also helped me through my turmoil, um, and helped save my life, and as did some other friends of mine and some family. You have people in need. When you're in need, your true friends and your true family comes around for you. So after I kind of got my sanity back a little bit, living in Boise, Idaho, Wendy and I decided to move down to Texas and start a business because I had been working on my health. So at the time, this is close to 15 years ago, um, I was the guinea pig for what we were doing. And at the time, we were doing paleo, keto, primal eating, gluten free, all the words you hear now, like keto and primal and paleo and low carb and all that, we were doing before anybody was really doing it. To say we were ahead of our time, yes, we were. Not us and and people around the country and the world were doing it, but it hadn't become this popular thing that it is now. So we started working with people. We started a company doing that, basically coaching and counseling, helping people with their weight, helping people with nutrition, with things from hormonal issues all the way to type 2 diabetes, to high cholesterol, blood pressure, testosterone for guys. I mean, 80% of our body is what we put into it. The other 20% is genetics and exercise. We are we eat. So this laid a path out. And as I was healing myself, and also we were building this company, I was going down rabbit holes to learn more about older healing techniques or things to help myself as I was getting healthier and healthier. So I started getting into yoga, which I teach now, and then meditation and essential oils, and all what's old is new again. A lot of old Indian healing techniques like Reiki and all these things that I was going down these rabbit holes learning about, because I would tell clients, you have to look at Chinese herbal remedies that they've been doing for 2,000 plus years. There's something to it. It is tried and true. So as I was learning all this, I was adding this to my toolkit. And at the time, this is 10 years ago, I had made a decision to basically start living my life in the healthy way, but also in a very holistic, natural way. And I decided way back then that I'm not going to have any more pharmaceuticals. I'm not going to have any more vaccinations. That was a decision I made years ago, over a decade ago. And so it laid the groundwork for what we were teaching, natural. Our bodies are amazing machines that can do almost anything if you give it the right tools. So we started doing that. We moved our business online about 6 years ago because we're coaching and counseling only. We don't sell any garbage, no pills, potions, shakes, machines, none of that garbage. Our mission was and still is, we're doing it sort of separately now, but teach a person to fish, feed them for a lifetime. So we give the gift of health to people through coaching and counseling. 50% of what we do is, or have done, is education. The other 50, knowledge is power. The other 50% is accountability, changing old habits and bringing them in the new. So we're doing that and seeing amazing changes, working with cancer patients, autistic children, all sorts of things, just amazing stuff, which I could talk about, and I have in the past another time. So that led me on my journey of really understanding who I truly was finally. It took me to about 45 years old to realize my true calling in life was to be a teacher and a healer. Even that whole time in LA where I was in and had some of the best times of my life in the movie industry, in the film industry, always in the back of my head was this gnawing thing like, oh, when I grow up or really figure out what I want to do in life, then I'll be happy. I knew I wasn't in my place yet. And I've truly found my passion and calling starting what I'm doing now. So that led down the road. So I kind of joke with people and Wendy a few years ago that we were red pilling people before red pilling was sort of hip. And you may hear that a lot now, red pilling. It's the matrix, you take the blue pill. It's when Neo gets offered those two pills. The blue pill, go back to your life completely unaware of what's going on, ignorance is bliss, or take the red pill and the matrix will be opened up, what's really going on. So that kind of led me down this whole path of health. And when I started discovering what the government has been doing to us, basically lying to us and feeding us poison for years, I said, what more is going on around here that we don't know, that we've been brainwashed about? So I basically woke up in the health industry to understand that the health industry is not really the health industry. This is years ago, but it's all built on money. They care about money, not your health. And this is a whole other path I won't talk about now, but that started leading me down other things, questioning everything. And that's my personality, is to question everything. I don't care, from politics to health to everything, science. So when people say trust the science to me, I say, which science are you talking about? Is that the science of sugar, that they said sugar was healthy for years? Is that the science of tobacco, when they said tobacco was healthy for years, even for pregnant mothers? Is that the science of fat, when they said saturated fat is bad for us, we need to eat trans fat? So keep in mind, past history, we've been lied to. This is all proven fact now. This is not a conspiracy theorist. So as we started coming forward and we moved our business online, I started traveling. And in my traveling, yes, I have a great time. I'm still single, but I also help a lot of people. I realized a lot of my work is service work and to help people with their lives and whatever thing. So I'm armed with all these new tools now, that I keep learning new techniques along the way, but I have this big bag of tricks now. So if anybody comes to me, if they have an addiction issue or a weight loss issue or something like that, I reach into my bag of tricks, everything from basic basic nutrition all the way to what I call the woo-woo metaphysical stuff too, and everything in between. So I have something to help whoever needs it at that level. And that was kind of my awareness. And through all this, my awareness started to become, at least from my perspective, bigger. I started seeing a bigger perspective of what's really going on and how we as a people have been manipulated for decades, some say hundreds of years, through being at each other's throats, through all sorts of things just to keep us in control. And this led into what I've been doing. And if you watch anything I do or anything I post, why, where I'm coming from now, where even it came into the pandemic and the COVID thing, I was one of the first people on board saying, hey, this is not what they're telling us. I'm never going to, there's ways to do this. Anyway, this is sort of where I've been coming in and red pilling people. And that led me to all sorts of other rabbit holes and things that I've learned along the way and many different levels. So the levels being from, what we're eating, nutrition, to politics, to the COVID narrative, to all sorts of different levels, what's going on around the world. And this is, as I've said before, this is how I see my truth. This is my perspective on the world. A lot of people don't like it. There's even friends of mine that say I'm out of my mind. And that's okay, because I don't care. I just know I'm on a mission. And I'm here to share my truth, the way I see the world and the way I see things, with anybody that's interested. And I've said over and over and over, I'm not here to try to convince you of anything. I won't do that. And if anybody looks at my social media or my YouTube videos over the years, I'll never get it into an argument. It's just, my ego is not such that I need to win. I don't. I am just here, it's like an alcoholic, because I'm an alcoholic, though I've quit drinking. You cannot talk to an addict or alcoholic. You can't get them to stop until they are ready and have made that decision in their own minds or their own heads. So anybody who comes to me who wants to know the truth on one level of how I see it, and I'm here for them with open arms. Now, a lot of this I don't get paid for, and I don't care. Money comes to me. Money comes when you're passionate about. So I'm expanding things in the business, and I do it. And, there's ways to make living and things like that. But my passion is to be here to be a helper and a healer, and enjoy life every single day, and not live in fear. So, there's a lot of things going on that I've talked about, but, just so I want to give this perspective, because people say, you're an anti-vaxxer. I'm not. And I've said this for years. This is why I give you this story, that I was decided personally not to have a vaccine over 20 years ago, even before I got into the health thing. And that's just my individual choice. So I say I'm pro-choice. I am here not to when anyone's ready for information on, there's an alternative always to everything. And we've learned this through our business the last 15 years in health. Just what the mainstream offers you is not the only solution. There's always other solutions. So if you do your research and use your discernment and then make a decision that's right for you, you go down that path. And, I took my folks to get vaccinated. It was a hard thing for me to do when the time came for them to do that. But I support anybody who wants to get vaccinated, as long as I believe that you do the research and do what you feel is right for you. It's just not for me, and I think there are so many other better solutions and alternative, healthier solutions than vaccines, that's what I preach. So I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all. They use these terms like this to kind of shun you, to make you look like you're really a wacko. And I don't believe I am. I believe I've been traveling the country now for 4 years. The height of the pandemic, I did a cross-country trip. I haven't been sick. So I think I'm doing something right. I've been back in Twin Falls helping my parents, my father who passed away back in January, but I've been a caregiver for the last 2 years, and none of them got sick. So I believe I'm doing something right. I know what I'm talking about. So this is just me. So if you feel something's right for you, you do that, but do the research. Don't just blindly follow one leader or one party or one anything. Do the research, put it into what I call the hopper, use discernment, and do what feels right for you. So that's a little bit of my background. You know, I've done a lot in life. I've been a musician. I've been in bands. A lot of things that I've talked about. You've seen me play. So I wanted to give that little background so you understand where my perspective is coming from with all these things I talk about. I don't think I'm a raving lunatic. Some people think I am, and that's okay. But this is where my perspective comes from, and I wanted to share that with you. So that's it. I miss the Florida weather. It's starting to become fall here, it seems, already in Idaho. I'm on my way to the mountains. Another thing that I do is I officiate weddings, um, and I'm going to Island Park tomorrow, which is just west of Yellowstone for a wedding. And then I do a wedding there, and then I go up to Stanley, Idaho, one of my favorite spots on earth, for another wedding next weekend. So I'll be checking in soon, and I'm going to be talking a lot more about current events on a more consistent basis here soon, and tell you how I'm going to be structuring what I'm doing if you're interested in more information, because I'm going to be more consistent about it. I'm actually going to expand it out, and I'll have a podcast and things like that. So have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.